4 weeks, and the Occupy Wall Street has kind of just branched from just one little area to all over the place, which is impossible, by the way, unless there's actually some real sentiment that is to grab onto. You're not going to find that with just miscellaneous randomness. You're going to find that because there's serious continuity. It's going to be hard to see me here for a second. We're taking a walk, so we'll allow it to come in and out, because it's a real conversation and not a fake one, which you're so used to, you might just forget that real conversations aren't perfect. I've waited for this forever, and now that people are like, oh my gosh, we care about our future, you know, it's kind of like a shock to me, because for so long, I expected in 2008, personally, I expected in 2008, for sure, in my mind, that we would see massive, massive, massive changes when trillions of dollars just got funneled offshore and nobody found out where that money went. When Bernie Sanders or Alan Grayson or Ron Paul or whoever else did, Dennis Kucinich, I think might have kind of asked Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, what's going on? Where did you take the money? You know, and they're talking about trillions of dollars with the T, capital T.
Have you lost
so who got the money?
your mind?
To financial institutions in Europe and other countries.
Which
ones?
Which
one? I don't know.
We're not talking about billions, we're not talking about millions, we're talking about trillions of dollars that are taken away and siphoned overseas. And I figured, whoa, for sure we're going to see something big out of this.
It's increased from around 800 billion to about 2 trillion.
And what was that money spent on?
That money was lent. To banks, investment banks. It was.
Which institutions received it, and how much for each institution?
I don't know which specific institutions received it.
And then who comes out and should start talking about it with Bill Black, William K. Black, the man who put over 1,000 bankers in jail.
But is that true? Is that what you're saying here? That it was in the boardrooms and the CEO offices where this fraud began?
Absolutely.
How did they do it? What do you mean?
Well, the way that you do it is to make really bad loans because they pay better. Then you grow extremely rapidly. In other words, your Ponzi-like scheme. And the third thing you do is we call it leverage. That just means borrowing a lot of money. And the combination creates a situation where you have guaranteed record profits in the early years. That makes you rich through the bonuses that modern executive compensation has produced. It also makes it inevitable that there's going to be a disaster down the road.
Inside job, Charles Ferguson and Audrey Mars.
You open my eyes, and I can't go back.
Forgive me, I must start by pointing out that 3 years after a horrific financial crisis caused by massive fraud, not a single financial executive has gone to jail, and that's wrong.
If you're not putting anybody in jail, there's been no justice, really. There's nothing's happened. Nothing went on, you know? And Bill Black was the man that really pointed that out in such a beautiful way, because he was the person you would expect. Yeah, and he really broke it down. And we get a lot of really important realizations from William K. Black, or Catherine Austin Fitts, or Max Kaiser, or Dr. Michael Hudson, or an Alex Jones accounts from his own way and perspective. You've got ZeroHedge.com did an unbelievably good job of capturing the lead up to what we see today. But you've also got basic kind of camps out there. You have the Ron Paul Liberty Movement, which really starts in 2007 is where that really gains steam, and in a really strong way. And that was really great to see that happen. And we've seen that just bloom and bloom and bloom. And that became the Tea Party movement, then that got co-opted by the Koch brothers. And then now we have Occupy Wall Street, which is real sentiment. But there's a couple things that I hear that I think need to be discussed. And I wrote some of these down. I hear that there's the no focus. No focus is one of the main critiques that I'm hearing from a lot of people. But what I want to say is that your problems are not focused. Your problems are across the board. If you just destroy everything, you know, it isn't going to look focused. The destruction itself is going to look really serious.
This is a mathematical fact. This is not some opinion. This is a mathematical fact. Tens trillions of dollars are being extracted from the United States of America. Democrats aren't doing it, Republicans are not doing it. An entire integrated system, financial system, trading system, taxing system that was created by both parties over a period of 2 decades is at work on our entire country right now. And we're sitting here arguing about whether we should do the $4 trillion plan that kicks the can down the road for the president for 2017 or burn the place to the ground. Both of which are reckless, irresponsible, and stupid.
If something looks really serious, it's because it is really serious. If it looks like people are in a lot of trouble, it's because they are in a lot of trouble. If it looks like something should be done about it, it's because something should be done about it. So how long are we going to wait to deal with it? How long is it going to take? You know, how long is it going to go? When are Americans going to start to care? You know? And that's something I thought for a long time. The answer was apparently never, you know? And I kept thinking, well, for sure this is going to be the week, or something would happen, and I think for sure this is the problem. You know, people are really going to care now. People are really going to get on the streets, and they're going to say, hey, you took trillions of dollars from us. This is really pissing us off. This is really insane. You know? And they didn't. People didn't say anything. You know? And so they kept taking more and more. And this is what really happened. Then 2008 happened. Nobody went to jail, and they just started taking more and taking more and taking more. But instead of just saying they took more and more, why were they allowed to do that to begin with? Maybe that's something we should talk about.
You're suggesting or saying that CEOs of some of these banks and mortgage firms, in order to increase their own personal income, deliberately set out to make bad loans?
Yes.
How do they get away with that? I mean, what about their own checks and balances in the company? Or what about their accounting divisions?
All of those checks and balances report to the CEO. So if the CEO goes bad, all of the checks and balances are easily overcome. And the art form is not simply to defeat those internal controls, but to suborn them, to turn them into your greatest allies. And the bonus programs are exactly how you do that.